East Chamber of Commerce, I'm Wayne Lawrence. Is owning your own business, can it be a blessing or a curse? So many people have thought about opening up their businesses or, even, talking to their peers to find out whether or not how their business are doing, because we're all on an island at some point. So we're going to find out today from a real business owner what it's like to really own your own business. Today I have Jodi Turk from PowerMax. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. So Jodi and I met. I'm really big about the whole networking thing. I know you are too, and I'm even, I'm always excited about chamber events because we go to a lot of them. You're kind of old school like me. That's how we build our business, by meeting people at chamber events. So I want the audience to know that I met you at a chamber event not long ago, and then you and I met at my office to just talk about how we can work together. And I just saw you recently at another chamber event, and I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I know you do commercial carpet cleaning, but you do a lot more than that. So tell everyone what you do.
We do commercial and residential carpet cleaning.
Okay.
We do upholstery cleaning, tile and grout. We do emergency water extraction, both commercial and residential.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know about the flood service that you do as well too.
Yes.
So that in itself has to be just tough because you're dealing with emotions, those disaster recovery companies, et cetera. What's that like, dealing with the customer when those things happen?
Well, it's not easy.
Yeah.
You're right. There's a lot of emotion in it. I mean, their loved possessions are underwater, and it's very difficult. Sometimes it's not easy right off the bat to just get them to let's start picking these things up and let's start getting them bagged. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it goes really quick. They're like, okay, right. Let's get this done.
Yeah. And you're in a competitive field. You really are. I mean, there's a lot of folks who do what you do. How do you stand apart from them? What makes you stand out?
We're honest.
Okay. We
We will walk you through the whole procedure. We tell you the way it is, the way it's got to be. And we have worked with other companies in the past. I mean, we've done work with water extraction team. We've done work with custom carpet cleaning, Bernie. If we come into a job where the rugs are extremely expensive, I mean, we'll tell them these have got to go to Ursulanian.
Okay.
I mean, there's room for all of us.
So you're not just doing the quick grab of cash. You're actually consulting them on what best to do.
Yes.
So when I'll go back to that story when I first met you. I actually met a young man at the same event. He had the same identical shirt on, and I sat down and talked with him. And I started asking him questions. I told him a little about the podcast, and he looks me straight in the eye. He goes, "You need to talk to my wife." I go, "Well, where's your wife?" He goes, "Right over there." So tell us about that young man.
Well, I mean, Frank has been doing this for 35 years. He is so well respected in the Cleveland community. He has a technique that's just second to none. He's outstanding at what he does, but we are the dream team. I mean, what I'm not good at, Frank is excellent at. And then the business side of it, I can go out, I can talk to people, and I can make them feel comfortable to try us. Yeah. But once they see Frank's work, I'm telling you, that's who they want.
Well, I could tell. First of all, a very nice person, very nice guy. And the other thing is that he was very passionate about what you guys do and doing it well. We had a whole conversation about quality and how a lot of companies don't do that.
So. Didn't know that. I did not know that.
He's a good guy. So how many other employees do you have? So I know it's you and Frank involved, of course, in ownership and management, but are there any other people?
I mean, our son is doing it too.
Good. Okay.
Adam is, he graduated college a year and a half ago. Our daughters have been in the business with us since they were, 10, if I'm allowed to even say that.
Yeah.
But we've had plenty of people who work for us when we need it, when we have extremely large jobs, extremely large buildings. Adam, also a lot of his friends who are strong, who are young, and Frank has taught them the technique.
Yeah, and that's great, too, when you have people in the family who could pull upon their peer group to help you, because you keep that continuity and consistency of people who really want to do a good job. And that's really smart. So you have contractors involved as well, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And how long have you been in business total?
Frank has been in 35 years. I've been in it 25 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you've seen it all and done it all.
Yes,
Okay.
we have. We've been through all the changes. I mean, I can even recall when I first opened up PowerMax 25 years ago, I was the only woman in the industry.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was.
So let's go back 35, 25 years ago. And you're really thinking through, like some of our audiences, thinking through, should I do this? The new year came around, new year, new me, new everything type of thoughts and behavior. What made you choose to get in business?
Frank's business partner died. And it just so happened around the same time I was in corporate, I was in banking, and our bank was being bought out and they were not taking our marketing department. So people found Frank's phone number and they were calling him. They still wanted him to work. He got out of it for about a year. And people kept calling us, Frank, we'll do anything. We'll rent carpet cleaning machines. We just want you.
Wow.
And I was like, Frank, I'm losing my job. I said, let me open up a company. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Honestly, I did not.
Right.
I came from business suits. I came from very clean environment. And here I am today. You never know what you're going to walk into. Filth, dirt, hoarders.
Yeah.
You walk into a lot of different aspects of people's lives. But
Right.
I'm not disappointed that we did it.
Well, you did not know what you were getting into, but now you're in it. You've been in it for a while. So let me ask the question. Has owning your own business, has it been a blessing or curse, and why?
It's been such a blessing.
Okay, good.
Well, in many of these years, I didn't really know how to live. I was strictly business, but I'll tell you, people come along in your life. I said it to you before, Michelle Ribb. She's my mentor. She owns Office, Buy Right Office and Supply, Furniture and Supply, new and used. And she came along and she talked to me. I think I needed another woman to tell me what to do, considering there were no women in my industry to talk to.
Mm-hmm. Understand.
And listen, it paid for all 3 children's colleges.
Right.
It came out debt free.
Right.
If I don't do another thing for them in life, they've started this life out with no debt.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that.
Yeah, and that's truly a blessing. It really is. I'm sure they feel the exact same way. And of course, I know Michelle as well. I go back to the old Beechwood Chamber of Commerce days. And once again, it goes back to that chamber and networking, getting together. And so, along with her and of course, Frank and your family, business, and especially being in business with family members, is not always bliss. There's some challenges that come along the way, right? So how do you navigate through that? And secondly, who do you turn to for answers and support other than, of course, you mentioned Michelle. Yeah.
I've had to. Frank and I don't always see eye to eye on everything. He may think that he's the one because people see his work and they love his work, and he gets in and he gets out. He's not really a talker. But me, if I go in on a job and I'm finished with the furniture, I start talking with the client.
Right.
I feel like we've earned their trust. I mean, we are very picky in who we have going into their houses, but the most important thing is we feel, both Frank and we feel that everybody deserves a clean environment. I don't care if you live in a $2 million house or you're the only house on the block that's not boarded up. Yeah,
I agree, and that's well spoken. So you trust in you trust in Frank, you trust in, of course, your kids who are involved, but you're also dealing with contractors at times. How do you instill in them the same type of commitment and dedication to the quality of work? Is it just because you both are on site and you're seeing Frank work? I mean, how do you instill that in them?
Frank is an excellent trainer.
Yeah, okay.
And we can pretty much tell within the first 3 weeks. I think Frank can tell in 2 weeks. It takes me about 3, 4 weeks.
A little bit longer?
But, Frank can tell in 2 weeks if this person is going to be good or not good.
And where are you located? And what's your service area? Do you have a physical location where your trucks are?
It's out of our house.
Okay.
And we're in Lyndhurst.
Okay.
And I will just say we go as far as Painesville in that direction. We go as far as Auburn in that direction. I do have, since I graduated from the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business, I do have a lot of people on the west side now, and I don't tell Frank in the morning that he's leaving to go to the west side. He doesn't exactly like to cross over, but I tell him about 5 minutes before he's going to leave.
Do you remember what cohort you were involved in?
I was 21, and I graduated, I was the last one in 2019 before it closed down for the pandemic in March.
Okay. Yeah. And my business partner was involved. I think it was one of the first 3 or 4 actually when it first came out. And so how was that for you? What did you learn there? Because Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses is just a fantastic program. Everything you hear about it, and I personally, just from what my business partner experienced, certainly recommend it to others to get involved because I think it teaches them a lot about business. What did you gather from it?
First of all, I went in when Michelle had told me, Jodi, go and apply for this.
Yeah.
And I said, what could I possibly learn? I've been in business for so long.
Right. Yeah.
Game changer. It is an absolute game changer.
Good.
They taught me everything, especially I have an accountant. And I'll tell you, I wasn't exactly looking at my accounting things. I'd sign off on them and whatever. They made me sit down at Goldman Sachs, and they made me go through a few years of my things. They made me read them, and now I read them all the time.
Yeah, got better sound. That's great. It really is great. So, and I'm glad we're talking about this because I don't think I've spoken to anyone about that on this show. And for those who are listening or even watching, and you have your own business, I would really think about, are they still doing it now? I haven't heard one.
Absolutely.
Okay, because I know they took a few years
I'm an ambassador now there.
Oh, good for you. You're the perfect ambassador for it.
I love it. I love it. I mean, there were 26 people in my cohort, but I have to tell you, whether you own a restaurant or an insurance business or whatever it is that you own, everybody brings value to the table.
Yeah.
And just, everybody's got to have an accountant or everybody's going to do their taxes or everybody's got to set the schedule. But it's the way that they do it. Everybody has an idea.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I wasn't always correct in my way of thinking. I listened to everybody very carefully there.
Because you have, as you said, so many people just sharing ideas about how to do this. And we all have our strengths and we all have our weaknesses. And to be around other people where, where your weakness can become stronger because, you're learning from them is absolutely a great way to approach it. As I said, I definitely would recommend that people take a look at it and get involved if they can.
Absolutely, 100%. It changes your world, and it made me see things in so many different ways that when you get stuck so many years in your own company, but it changes the way you think about things, and you have other alternatives to add on. So,
Jodi, being in business for so long, and even myself, we've seen the economy change too many times. We've seen the employee labor pool change way too many times. Have you ever thought to yourself, why am I doing this?
Well, I mean, I still do feel that everybody deserves a clean environment. And I've stuck to that most of my working years. That's what keeps me going in it. I mean, we just, over time with like Amazon and all these big things, people are shopping more and more, and it's coming directly to their house.
Yeah.
And they've got so many things in their house. Sometimes there's not even space to get in their house to actually start to clean their carpets. They have things everywhere. And that's a very difficult thing today.
Yeah, it is.
Very difficult.
It is. So how do you grow your company now? And not just from a financial standpoint, but, how are you finding new customers? Who are you partnering with? What type of industries in order to get the word out about PowerMax?
Oh, I network all the time now. I'm in B&I.
Okay.
And
Which chapter are you in?
I'm in the Pepper Pike Beechwood chapter.
Okay, good. Okay.
And I've been in it. It'll be 1 year coming up in March.
Good for you.
And I also sit on a board of WIN, Women in Networking. And
Another fantastic organization.
I have sat on that board for a very long time. I can't even remember what year I started, but the Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce, I sit on board there too.
Good.
I love the chambers. They support small business, and that is what it's all about. I mean, small business is everything. It just is everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm going to go off the side note now just because I feel so strongly about it as you do, that if you have a small business and you haven't taken a serious look at a chamber of commerce, then I really don't want to hear you talk about how you can't possibly gain business or network, because that's the best environment to do so. It really is. It changed my company, and it's just... and sometimes it's frightening to be a part of it because a lot of people, if you're inclusive, or you might feel comfortable being around people. But I think a chamber does a really good job of just getting people connected by doing introductions or finding someone who could take you around. So I agree with that 1,000%. So on the flip side, so when do you say to yourself or to Frank or the family, when you guys all come together and go, this is fantastic, I'm so glad I did this?
I do. I still feel we are the dream team. I'm happy to be, I'm happy to work with each and every person that I work with. I would say 80%, 85% of the people that have worked with us and for us, I would hire them in a heartbeat again.
Good.
I mean, as they get older or they've left and gone to college or they've moved out of state or some have died, I just love the people that we work with.
Okay.
If you have a good team, you're going to be a good team.
Okay.
And you work well together.
Okay.
And whatever anybody's weaknesses are or strengths, we just build off of that.
Have you kept up with any sort of technology? Have there been any technical changes in what you do that just benefits your business and make it more efficient?
Okay. Well, I will say this. I'm going to be honest here. If anybody knows me, I carry a black book, and people pick on me all the time. Why don't I carry a computer? I do go into some pretty bad neighborhoods. I don't carry purses on me. I don't carry cash on me. But I carry that black book, and it goes with me wherever I go. And it says reward if found, large reward. And I carry a black book with me everywhere. I always know. And when there was a time in Cleveland when the lights went out, there was that thing in New York, and it went out, but guess what? I could still work because I had all my things in my black book.
Exactly. I kind of do both. I keep everything, in my computer for technical or technology. At the same time, we have a board that we also keep jobs and customer information as well too, just in case. Because I'm not 100% convinced that. Because I remember that blackout when it happened and no one knew what to do.
Me. Yeah. And you know what? I threw it back in everybody's face. I'm like, you see, I know what I'm doing. I can still work.
Exactly. So you mentioned, so I'm going to kind of put you on a spot here. You mentioned Michelle talking to you about being in business and some other people just sort of giving you an idea or heads up of what it's going to be, what the experience. If at a networking event, the next one I see you at, if someone comes up to you and says, hey, Jodi, I saw you on the podcast, what advice would you give me going into starting a business? What would you say to them?
You need a mentor. You need somebody that's going to be there to talk to. Sometimes you need a good doctor. I'm going to say Dr. Tamsin. She's here in Cleveland. Sometimes you just got to get out some of your feelings, when you're on top of everybody all day. And sometimes things don't always go good. Yeah. And I have to get some feelings out, and I do journal. I do. I journal every day.
You do?
I do.
So you carry the black book and the journal. So
I don't carry the journal with me, but I start my morning every morning. I journal because I feel like if you put it out into the universe, I want every day to be good. And even the days that aren't good, I still want to get through them. Okay.
So when you, Frank, and family are not working, how do you spend your time?
Me personally, I am an avid book reader.
Okay.
I'm in 2 book clubs, and I love Playhouse Square. I'm a fanatic. I have seasons tickets. I love that, and I love music.
Oh, good. Okay. You don't play an instrument or anything, like you just enjoy
I just
different
enjoy
types
it. Yes.
Okay.
I have several friends that sing, several friends that play instruments, and I follow them around like a groupie.
So I'm going to have to ask you this question, although you may not be prepared to answer it. When family is involved in business, have you thought about a succession plan at this point, especially with having the kids involved? And where are you at on that?
I will tell you, that was a big thing with 10,000 Small Business. They actually said it, and out of 26 people on that particular day that they asked me, I said the business would die with me. I'm not so sure I don't feel that way today, but I would love it if my 3 kids would take over. I would especially love it if Adam took over, but my daughters are just as strong and just as fast and pretty well up there with Frank. I'd love it if my family took over. I also have a niece that I absolutely love, Jen. If you're going to watch this, I'm telling you, she was excellent. I love her. She's at the clinic now, but I love her too. I feel that family taking over would be the best.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about it now because I have a big birthday at the end of the year, and I'm thinking highly about it now.
Good. Well, I'm sure Jen, your niece, is going to watch, and maybe she'll comment, say, "Yeah, I'm in," or whatever. But I think that's great. And when you work that hard, that long, to be able to have family involved for a couple reasons. One, you work so hard to provide for them and give them, get them through college, things like that, which you mentioned to me before. But secondly, to keep that commitment to just the brand name and what you do and service level, whatever, it's hard to see that go away. And I think, having a succession plan with family goes a long way to resolving that. And I'm hoping that happens for you as well, too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll see. So Jodi, I really do appreciate you coming on to the show. I know you and I had a disconnect at one point. I had the wrong email address. I go, she doesn't want to come on this show. And you go, I didn't think you wanted me on the show even after the first time. So I'm glad we figured that out.
Me
and we
too.
figured it out at a networking event when we got together again. And I really enjoyed the conversation with you. And I'm positive that people listening and watching are going to say the same. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, if you like this episode, don't forget to comment, like, and share.
This podcast was made possible with the support of our sponsors. Find more ways to grow at kyeast.org.